Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our show, MINDTRIP, where we explore the connections between mindsets and mental health. As you've noticed, it's just me today. Unfortunately, Nikki's laptop decided to take a dive and end its 2020 early. She kind of had some thing that happens to your computer. I think she said only happens to 2% of people, where their laptop just like implodes and it just doesn't work anymore. So of course that happened to her today. So it is just Coach Taylor Bryant going live with you guys today. So some things to expect over this show. I want to definitely share our Bible verse of the week with you guys, recap the last 3 shows that we have done, and then also kind of give you guys some tips and tricks to overcome anxiety and depression. And last but not least, I do have 2 great things to show you guys at the end of this show. So let's go ahead and jump in. The Bible verse this week is 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. And that states that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. So sorry, guys, if you see me looking away, I have my beautiful little 4-month-old German Shepherd here. I'll show you guys quick. He's sitting here staring at me as I give him treats for being a good boy. So if we hear a bark, that would be him telling me he wants a treat. So one more time, guys, I'm going to reread the Bible verse. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. This Bible verse is so important to bring to you guys because we have been sharing how the holidays have impacted many people on a negative path in terms of anxiety, in terms of depression, not being able to be with their family for this time of year, which is why we brought you guys the series of Baby, It's Cold Outside When It's Not the Jolliest Time of Year. So many people have experienced overcommitting. You know, we've shared that to you guys through the first 3 episodes, where when it's the holiday times, you get so many invites. You get the invite to Aunt Jen's party. You got Mom's Christmas Eve party. You got Cousin Seth's party or White Elephant party, what have you. There's just so much going on. And sometimes we can just get caught up in the need to feel like we have to be everywhere at the same time. If you're like me, you have the fear of missing out. So that means that you want to go to all these parties. You want to commit to them because you don't want to miss anything. Or if you're like Nikki, who's probably not here but watching from her phone today, you don't want to commit to anything. You just want to stay home and kick your feet up. But nonetheless, that is something that people have struggled with. We also have the financial stress. We know that through the holiday season, on top of coronavirus being a thing, many of us losing our jobs or source of income, not being able to deliver for Christmas for kids, and just the stress of that can create many deep feelings of depression and that constant worry of how am I going to make things work. Then we have the loss of expectations, which I wanted to share with you guys because so many times over this last month, even probably back in November, I shared that my mom has this annual Christmas Eve party. Sorry, guys. This annual Christmas Eve party where our family gets together, we have a good time, we exchange gifts, but she decided to cancel that this year. So the loss of that expectation for me was kind of hard, but it hit my mom way harder. She actually called me crying and saying this was one of the most difficult decisions that she's had to make in the last couple of years. So that's been very difficult for people as well. So if you find yourself wallowing in anxiety and depression, remember that God has not given you the spirit of fear. He wants you to prosper. He has plans for you to succeed. He wants to deliver that love to you, and he wants to deliver a sound mind. Of course, bad things are going to happen to us in our lives. If you think about the story of Jesus, bad things have happened to him. Look what they did to him that brought him to being on the cross. If bad things happen to Jesus, bad things are going to happen to us. But where we can have a sound mind is to be content in any situation that we find ourselves in. If we find ourselves in a season of depression, or if we find ourselves in a season of high anxiety, Always turn to God and pray and ask him for what it is that you need, and he will provide, guys. A lot of people may find themselves thinking, why me? Why is this happening to me? This never happens to any of my friends. My family my family members seem to be doing well, but why me? Why am I always in financial stress? Why am I always struggling with my mental health? But guys, let's take a moment to pause and reframe that. Why not you? Why not you? I love this saying that God does not give us anything we can't handle. So whatever you're going through, take a deep look at that and understand that there's power in understanding your situation. There's power in digging deep and asking yourself, why not me? Why not you? Why are you not the person to go through this struggle? How is it going to benefit you? How can you come out on the other end? Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? I find that that's a big question that we ask many of our coaching clients when they come to us with common complaints or common struggles. We ask them, what is this teaching you? You have to dig deep and understand and uncover. Those are the two things, understanding and uncover what this means to you. I do want to jump back and reference some statistics from the last 2 to 3 episodes that we have shared in our Baby It's Cold Outside series. And there was a study out of 755 respondents. All of them stated that the holidays contribute to feelings of sadness and depression. So again, guys, you are not alone if you feel this during this season. Let's dig deeper into that. 68% feel financially strained. That's a high number, which I am willing to bet some of you have felt the same exact way, that financial pressure. 66% have felt loneliness. And now this study was conducted in 2019, but it's 2020. Can you guys imagine the percentage of loneliness, how much has gone up? So many people are isolated during this time, not being able to be around loved ones, having to see their loved ones through Zoom like this or video technologies. It's just not the same as being in person. We also have 63% experiencing too much pressure. Just think about the different situations in your life where you felt immense pressure. Pressure to measure up to expectations, pressure to do something for somebody. And then you add on this pandemic that's happening. You still have those pressures to make things happen for other people or even for yourself. And it can cause a lot of depression when you're not able to measure up or things are stopping you from achieving that goal. Which leads me into the last statistic here is 57% of people experience unrealistic expectations. So take a moment to kind of revisit that for yourself and think, what expectations do you have on yourself that are unrealistic? If you guys would like, please share those in the comments below. I'd like to know just the different things that you guys experience, the different things that go through your mind or plague your thoughts, just having to live up to these expectations that other people put on you. We've got expectations from family members, from friends, from work. All of those things can impact us significantly. So, guys, how can we fix this? How can we beat anxiety and depression? I think that's the biggest thing that many people struggle with is, okay, so I've identified that I have depression. I've identified that I have anxiety. And yes, just like the 755 respondents, it's exacerbated over the holiday times. How do I get better? So I kind of put together a list of tips, 4 of them actually, that you guys can start applying today. You can start applying them today to try to alleviate those feelings of depression and anxiety for yourself. But before I delve into that, I kind of wanted to further define what anxiety and depression is. So anxiety is just that fear or that future-oriented thinking. It's that, oh my God, what if X, Y, and Z happens? See, guys, there's my dog. 1 second. Speaking of a little bit of anxiety there, I knew he was going to bark. So here I am addressing that. Sorry, guys. So anxiety is that future or oriented thinking, that fear of what could happen. So many of us get trapped in that thought cycle. What if my car doesn't start? What if I get let go from my job? Being focused on the future creates anxiety for you. Depression is kind of the opposite, although they do go hand in hand and they're often comorbid. Depression is the past. You're kind of stuck in trauma or you're stuck in difficult experiences and you find it so difficult to dig yourself out of that. The happy medium, guys, the thing that might bring you out and back to the present moment is something called mindfulness. And mindfulness is focusing on what's in front of you, is focusing on the here, and is focusing on the now, allowing yourself to be in the present moment, not thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow, not thinking about what happened yesterday, what's happening right now. So the first step that I want to share with you guys is visualizing happy memories. So when we visualize happy memories, things come back into our head and can create feelings of excitement, feelings of joy, feelings of happiness, maybe that we haven't felt in such a long time. Very often in our coaching clients, we find that people are stuck in those bad memories. They're often thinking about the bad things that have happened to them in their lives, and it keeps them down. It keeps them spiraling into this rabbit hole, and further, it creates emotional breakdowns. Nobody wants to be in that space, but so many people find themselves there. And again, guys, I'm not sure if you remember, but 80% of our thoughts are negative. We have an estimated 5,000 to 70,000. It's a huge range. Probably if you're a female, you're more on the 70,000 thoughts per day. And if you're a male, you're more on the 5,000. But anywhere in between there. 80% of our thoughts are negative. So we need to focus on the here and now and what we can do to uplift ourselves by visualizing happy moments in our lives. When I get down, sometimes I like to visualize the day that I actually met my husband. So I'm not going to share all the details with you guys, but we are 4 years apart. I met him when I was 17 and he was 21. We were at this park and he was like, whoa. Where do you go to high school? Because you said you go to East. Like, you still go there now? Or did you graduate from there? I was like, I go there. And then he got out of there. Of course, that age difference thing was scary, obviously, to him. But when I visualized that moment and just how funny it was and how I met my soulmate and my husband at 17 years old, it brings a lot of joy to my mind and it helps me move forward throughout my day. Claudine Nelson says, great examples of the difference between anxiety and depression. Absolutely. I find that that's the best way to share and describe to people. It sets the tone and helps you understand what type of mindset you're in. If you're down and you're feeling low and you're thinking about those past bad memories and those past bad experiences, you're likely suffering from depression. Now, I'm not here to diagnose or anything. Can't do that yet. Soon, next year. But you're likely suffering from depression. Or if you always find yourself high intensity, like on the edge all the time, trying to control things, because when you control the outcome, you can predict things. That's anxiety, fear of something happening that hasn't happened yet. Thank you for that comment, Claudine. Step number 2 that can help pull you out of this anxiety and depression cycle is making plans. I'm sure you guys have heard this time and time again about how important exercise is. Get moving. Now, maybe you're not like Joe Schmo who likes to pick things up and put them down. Maybe you don't want to go pound iron at the gym, but you're able to turn on a Pilates video on your TV. Maybe you can go for a walk around the neighborhood. Ask a friend if they'd like to come with you and, just chat what's on your mind for that day. Nonetheless, get moving. I also find that cleaning the house is also a great way to get moving. For so many of us who work from home, you might be tired of sitting in the same spaces all day long. So maybe you need to get moving and start redecorating and reorganizing your home. That can really, really pull you out of that anxious mindset and that depressive mindset that you may find yourself in. And also, side statistic, I'm kind of feeling like Nikki here. The state of our house often mimics the state of our minds. I'm sure we've said that quote to you guys throughout our show, but it serves the purpose. It's true. Many people who suffer from depression, when I have back to my trauma therapy days and my family therapy days and doing in-home therapy, many of my clients would have a house that was in disarray. Not necessarily messy, filthy, but just stuff everywhere. Many times the parents of that household or the children of that household struggled with mental illness. And that's kind of how their space was represented in that as well. So if you're making plans, you're getting moving, you're reorganizing your space, you might feel an uplift in your mood and be able to be present. All those thoughts of what if or what happened in the past can go away for that moment for you. I also have down here to make plans to meet with friends or visit your favorite places. And then I put where possible, obviously because of coronavirus happening right now. If you live in the state of Pennsylvania, our governor has said we can't do anything until January 4th. But if you live in places like Florida or maybe California, I'm not sure, but definitely Florida, you can go out, get moving, meet up with friends, go to your favorite places, and fix your mindset by just taking time to be mindful in those moments. And I know Florida's open because my dad lives in Tampa and he's kind of like, nothing has really changed here. I mean, everybody wears masks, but we don't have anything closed down. So that's the benefit of living to Florida or moving to Florida. Number 3, guys, is overcoming those negative thoughts. As I mentioned earlier, 80% of our thoughts are negative. And if you've experienced lifelong anxiety or lifelong depression, even some trauma in your childhood, that percentage is likely to be a little bit higher. When I see that and when I see people in those negative spaces and negative self-talk, it makes me feel sad because if you're putting yourself down and saying things like, I'm not worthy, or nobody's going to understand me, or I can't do it, I'm not strong enough, those blinding lights that Nikki and I have shared last episode, it's going to make you feel down. It's going to make you feel depressed. It's going to make you feel insecure, like you're not able to move forward or do anything. Nobody wants to be in that space, guys. And I'm sure some of you who are watching this episode today feel that way. Like, wow, I actually kind of find myself being negative. Tying back in that Bible verse, guys, that God has not given us the spirit of fear. He also hasn't given us the spirit of negativity either. He wants us to have a sound mind. He wants us to be self-disciplined. He wants us to be loved and to give love. We need to get out of those negative thoughts that take over our day. Take on a new perspective. So if you find yourself always thinking a certain way, put yourself in somebody else's shoes maybe. Think, what would Nikki do? Try to see life from a different perspective, or do the opposite of what you have been doing. One of my favorite quotes is the insanity quote, and that is, you do the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. It's insane. It's just not going to happen, guys. What you need to do is change your behaviors, change your thoughts, or change your feelings. Either way, change one of those 3 and see things from a different perspective. I wish I had my CBT triangle here for you guys. But if you can recall, it's that triangle that looks like this. And at the top is thoughts, down here is feelings, and over here is behaviors. All interconnected. Our thoughts influence our feelings, thus influence our behaviors. So if you're having those thoughts of, I'm not worthy, you're going to feel, again, insecure. And your behaviors are going to be putting yourself down, having those negative thoughts, staying away or avoiding the things that you can attain or the things that you deserve. Let's look on the opposite side of that. What if you woke up every single morning and told yourself, wow, I am worthy. I am self-disciplined. I have a sound mind. I am powerful. I am loved. When you have those thoughts and you tell yourself that time and time again, I promise you, you're going to start having feelings of self-worth, confidence, joy, all of the positive, happy emotions that you can insert over there. And as a result, your behaviors are going to be showing up where you need to show up, being there for yourself, taking care of yourself, taking care of those who need you, and maybe even, just changing your life in general, starting those steps. So keep that in mind, guys. 80% of our thoughts are negative. Let's change that the opposite way. We need to make 80% of our thoughts be positive. And that's not to say, of course, we do get down every once in a while, guys. We all experience painful moments. We all experience some form of trauma. We all get caught up in those negative thoughts. But please do not stay there. When we stay there, and when it becomes pervasive, and when it becomes difficult to get out of bed, then it becomes a clinical diagnosis of that depression or anxiety. Do not allow yourself to wallow in those moments. Step 4 is relaxation. How many times has somebody told you, whew, just breathe? Now, depending on what's happening or what's in the moment, somebody telling you just breathe can probably escalate you a little bit more. But if you decide to be mindful and take that mindfulness journey, you'll really understand the power of relaxing and deep breathing. You might have seen this if you watch TV and the commercials, the Calm app. Absolutely love that app. It has beautiful music in the background or sounds of the forest or rain that you can put on for 30 seconds or however long you need to just stop and close your eyes and deep breathe or meditate or do whatever you need to do to get yourself out of that anxious moment or depressive moment. You can't, I wrote down this is my other favorite quote, you can't see the forest through the trees, which basically means you may think you know what your problems are, but likely you don't have a grasp on it because you can't truly see how you view the world. You can't truly see what problems you have that are impacting not only you, but the people in your web. And you can't really see a way or a solution to get out that's going to work, that's going to last in your life. So that's why it might be important for you to hire a therapist or hire a life coach or somebody that offers both, like Nikki and I through Bryant Katsaounis Life Coaching. Got to put that in there. But when you allow somebody else to sit with you in those feelings and those emotions and help you uncover what the source of your pain is, things start to light up. I just want to pause, you guys. Imagine your life just lighting up because those painful moments are starting to dissipate. The Bible verse starts to rise for me. God has not given us the spirit of fear. Do not be fearful of confronting your demons. Do not be fearful of bringing those things to light. A lot of the behaviors that we have to this day were established in our childhood through learned behaviors. We watched our parents and caregivers respond a certain way. Or maybe we've experienced abusive relationships, things like that. Those behaviors are learned, and how you act to this day, whether it's in other relationships or in your business, with your friends, that all comes about. Do not be fearful of bringing those things to light. Just think about the power in letting that go, how that can change your life. Love will start coming around. You'll be able to have a sound mind when you let the pain and the hurt go. Stop giving power to that by being fearful and avoiding. Stop. Guys, those were some powerful tips and tricks for you to beat anxiety and depression or any other mental illness that you find yourself struggling with. I see I have some comments down here. Kimberly Dorsey, yes. I'm not sure what you were saying yes to, but I'm hoping that one of these tips really resonated with you. Share with me, guys that are watching, what were your favorite tips out of the 1 through 4? So 1 was visualizing and happy memories, letting go of the bad memories. 2 was making plans. You got to get moving. You got to call up the friends. You got to, work out, redecorate your house, do something. Step 3 was overcoming those negative thoughts that we have that keep us down, making the decision to see things through another perspective. And tip number 4 was relaxing, breathing, using breathing apps, maybe hiring a life coach or a therapist to help them see the forest through the trees. So please share, guys. I'm interested what tip it was most beneficial to you or stands out to you. So guys, as promised, in closing, I have 2 things that I'd like to share with you. The first is this book here. It's called Momentum, Where Mindset Meets Strategy. This guy right here, his name is Seth Lewis. And Nikki and I have partnered with him through his business program called Momentum University, where we provide mindset coaching for his clients. But he has written this book, and as you can see, it is for business owners and leaders. The biggest thing to me, I read chapter 1, just got this yesterday, is the power of mindset. Again, as I was kind of talking today, the power of your mindset and how it can get trapped in those childhood memories and get trapped in those negative thoughts and behaviors. This kind of teaches you how to overcome that. It teaches you to look for those limiting beliefs and what you need to do to move forward to overcome that, so that not only can your business prosper, but your personal life and relationships can as well. And I really want to read to you guys my favorite quote from his book, chapter 1, really quick. He just talks about the power of starting over and the power of being able to put all the bad things out there so that you can create a plan. And he says, I have found that starting true momentum typically begins with the most difficult decisions. Most times, difficult decisions cause discomfort. However, I have found that the harder the decision is, the more momentum you stand to gain. Remember that, guys. The harder the decision is, the more momentum you stand to gain. Just as I was saying earlier, do not be fearful. Call out those things that have been troubling you and holding you down. Remember that God has plans for you to be loved, to prosper, to have a sound mind, to be self-disciplined. Remember that. That's what this statement in this book here means to me, guys. He is selling this on Amazon. So, of course, I'm going to be a big promoter because we are partners with him. This is life-changing. Please go check that out. Before I share the next thing with you guys, I do see people love tip number 2 and tip number 4. Think about how to implement that into your new plan for next year, guys. I know New Year's is tomorrow. 2021 is just 2 days away. Start attacking some of those things that are holding you down. Maybe journal, write down the things that are that have been impacting you, and start applying those tips to your life today. Why not start 2 days early? Why not? And last but not least, guys, Nikki and I launched these shirts back in September or August. They sold out, but we're bringing them back. It says, invent, inspire, prosper. And again, anybody can wear this shirt, but we designed this shirt with entrepreneurs in mind, with leaders, with ambitious professionals. You guys are always inventing new things to make the community better, to make people's lives better, new inventions to just help people in general. And inventing and inspiring and prospering is big. We all need that in this moment. On the back of the shirt, we have obviously our business logo. Can you guys see? Bryant Katsaounis Mindset Coaching. And if you guys love this shirt, please head to our website at www.visiondrivencoaching.com. We have a merchandise tab where you guys can select and look through the 2 shirt options that we have there. So in closing, guys, I wanted to let you guys know next month we have a brand new topic coming to you guys. So many influencers, life coaches, whatever you want to call them, are now pushing New Year's resolutions. But Nikki and I are taking a different path. We're going to be focusing on letting go of the things that have caused us grief, pain, loss, grudges, letting go of those things, how to let go of those things to become a new, more powerful, better version of you. Let's start the year off by saying, I give everything away. I'm starting a new, fresh slate. I need to learn how to, maybe I've forgotten, but I haven't forgiven. We need to learn how to let those things go so that you can truly prosper in 2021. I think it's time after the 2020 you've had, and maybe even before that, it's time. So as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week to our show. If you like the content we give on this show, we give so much more through our social media pages. Please follow us on Instagram at BKLLC19. You can also find us on Facebook at Bryant and Katsaounis Life Coaching. Maybe they can put the spelling of Katsaounis down below because her name is spelled very difficultly. But follow us at Bryant and Katsaounis Life Coaching on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in today to Mind Trip, where we explore the connections between mindsets and mental health. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Bye, guys.